All right. Joining me is former North Dakota Senator and Congressman Byron Dorgan, and we're going to talk about the Trump administration, the state of the country for a bit. First of all, what are you doing now?
Oh, I'm doing a lot of everything. I'm doing some consulting. I've just finished the manuscript of my 5th book. That'll be published in November. I'm doing some teaching, and I'm on about 4 boards of directors in various parts of the country. So I've been a pretty busy guy.
All right. You're not the kind of guy that just wanted to sit back and watch some TV, huh?
No, I like to keep busy.
All right. Well, let's talk about what's going on a little bit. I think no matter what side of the aisle you're on, Democrat, Republican, Trump supporter or not, it seems like our country has become so divisive, mean-spirited arguments between folks that aren't politicians. It seems like we're maybe not one but 2 nations under Trump. Do you think that's going on in our country?
Well, I worry about it, obviously. I mean, this is a circumstance where it seems to me that it's hard to have a disagreement or even a debate about public policy without finding that people disrespect each other. I mean, you can disagree without being disagreeable, and I think that the lubrication in a democracy like ours is compromise. And a couple of people get together and they may think differently about issues, but you want to try to find some common ground, and that's what compromise is about. Compromise these days is considered a 4-letter word by some people, and that's unfortunate. And it shows up in the fact that government isn't working very well.
As we see, there's been quite a few indictments surrounding the Trump administration, and more big news every day. Do you think our country, we're moving into some dangerous waters here?
Well, I don't know. I mean, none of us know the specifics of the Mueller investigation. The investigation is important, however, because we've seen some significant issues with respect to the Russians. They clearly interfered with an election by which Donald Trump was elected in 2016. There was clear interference there, and so there needs to be a significant investigation. Did that interference happen with some people involved in the Trump campaign? Who knows? But we'll find out. I mean, the Mueller investigation will tell us that. I worry about kind of the destruction of the norms that exist in our country, though. I mean, Democrats and Republicans have to work together, and we have to respect each other. And I worry that there's a kind of a coarseness and a denigration of politeness and compromise and so on that I think is destructive to our country's interest.
I've read a lot over the years of different political leaders and how it was done, and I think it was changing towards the end of your term also, that maybe folks go in the back room at the end of the day, have a drink and work something out and make it work, but it just doesn't seem like that happens anymore.
It doesn't. It's more tribal politics, I think, and everybody's worried about getting a primary if they don't do this or that, and if they speak out against something Donald Trump as president has suggested, they're worried about being challenged back home. Look, it's just a fact that much of what has come from this new president is pretty troublesome. He suggests that right at the start, let's ban all Muslims from coming into the United States. He says, I support torture. He says maybe we should have the Saudis and the Japanese and the South Koreans be able to acquire nuclear weapons. He calls a woman horseface. He criticizes John McCain for being captured. John was a war hero. I mean, you can go through a whole series of things that suggest kind of a denigration of good behavior, at least from my perspective. I know there will be people that disagree with that, but boy, I'm worried about it. And now the government's shut down, as you know, or at least a portion of the government, and it's all over this issue of a wall. Well, you know what? I voted for some fencing, for some critical few miles here and there, but I never thought we should be building like the Great Wall of China from border to border. That made no sense to me. That's not the way that you're going to solve an immigration problem.
All right. So I guess we're just going to, I grew up, I was in high school, I guess, during Watergate. Does our country feel at all kind of like that again, or not to you?
Well, it's very divided, no question about that. And I was around in Watergate early on, but the result was, of course, we had a president resign. We had a vice president who was convicted of criminal behavior, and he resigned. And And so, but we came through it, and Gerald Ford became the new president, and America moves on. This country's been through difficult times, but I sort of go back to what Warren Buffett said. You'd lose a lot of money betting against this country. This country's best interest is always recognizing that the American people have a good soul and a good sense of right and wrong. And while we get off track a little here and there, you know what? I'm going to bet on this country fixing it. And I think it's as difficult as you and I might think things are at the moment. I think new leaders, strong leaders will emerge, Republicans and Democrats, and both will provide, good things for the country in terms of public policy, and we'll move ahead.
Okay. Thanks for taking the time to talk with me.
It's good to visit with you. Thanks a lot.
I'm Neil Carlson reporting for iNewZ.TV.